Alright, we're going to talk some Marvel today. We're going to be talking about WandaVision, which has been on Disney Plus for the past 2 months now. Now, I know I haven't talked about this show at all on this channel, but where the show is heading and the fact that it is the season finale on Friday has me pretty excited. This whole show has just been littered with leaks and rumors even before the show actually hit Disney Plus. There were all of these details that were leaking from this project, and you know, look, I get it. When you become this popular, when you're running a company like a Marvel, you have so many people working on these projects that it's not gonna be easy to keep these leaks under wraps until it's available to the public. You have hundreds of people who are working on these projects or around these projects, and at any given moment they can just tell their uncle's cousin's brother's nephew. And you know, there you go. It goes from there, right? So there was just so much talk about this show, about what's gonna happen, who's gonna be in it. Some of those leaks and rumors did come to be true. You know, a couple months before the show came out, the discussion of Evan Peters coming back to play his Quicksilver role, it came true, you know? And how cool is it to have an actual X-Men in a Marvel show? It's about time. It's something a lot of us fans have wanted for so long, and we're finally getting it now, especially Kevin Feige, who's producing the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. He knows what we want because he's just as much of a fan as we are. So in a lot of senses, what's better than a true diehard fan being in charge of a superhero cinematic universe? So I know I haven't talked about this show all that much, but the reason why we're going to discuss it right now is because I'm excited of how the show will end and where it can go. This is actually one of the first shows I have dived into the rumors and the leaks to see what is potentially going to happen. For whatever reason, this was just one of those shows that I didn't really care all that much. I do enjoy it, but I actually wanted to know before watching it, and I'm not like that. I've never been that type of person. I like being surprised, but I gave into the leak culture on this TV show. There are better people out there on Google and on YouTube who can give you the rundown on these leaks and rumors. I will talk about the things I have heard when it comes to rumors and leaks. So first of all, the biggest rumor is that we were gonna get a 2-hour episode. It doesn't look like we're getting a 2-hour episode anymore. It seems like it is confirmed it is 50 minutes. And if you've watched this show, you know how this show works. You get about a 2 or 3 minute intro, which is the previously on WandaVision, and then you get almost 10 minutes of credits. Now, the credits is probably the biggest downfall of this show. For no reason should the credits be as long as it is. It is quite ridiculous. So you're shaving down nearly 10 to 15 minutes of content. You have a 50-minute episode, which might just come down to 35, 40 minutes, which is pretty ridiculous. I don't know how they're going to fit everything we need to know in a 50-minute span. That's why maybe a 2-hour special movie episode would have been better for them, but it is what it is. Now, why did I want to talk about WandaVision? For those who don't know, Wanda is a mutant. Wanda is an X-Men, same as her brother, Quicksilver. They come from the X-Men universe. Now, there was this weird thing where Marvel could use Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, and so could X-Men at Fox, but Marvel couldn't use like Wolverine and Magneto and Professor X. That's why you never see them. I don't know why those two characters could be shared between the studios. I'm sure there's a reason, I just didn't really know all that much of why. Now that Fox is owned by Disney, X-Men is back with Marvel, you can use these characters. You can finally put X-Men in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is where they should have been all along. We never got the X-Men team up with the Avengers and all the other Marvel heroes to take down Thanos, even though certain X-Men characters were very pinnacle to those stories, and it's very unfortunate, but that's not to say in the future we won't be getting something just as big like that happen with the X-Men. Where do the X-Men fit into this story? We know that this show has been setting up the potential arrival of the mutants, and really it looks like Wanda has actually been maybe creating mutants throughout this show so far. Bringing in Evan Peters back as Quicksilver clearly just opens the door to X-Men actors and actresses actresses coming over to Marvel and reprising their roles within the bigger of the universe. How could this end? Well, if you've seen interviews of Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen talking about the show, they've both discussed the idea of a huge cameo. And no, not Evan Peters, because that already kind of leaked earlier before the show came out, but we've all seen that now. And these are interviews after the fact. So there is still someone else who's pretty big that we haven't seen yet. So Elizabeth Olsen has stated that it is a Luke Skywalker in Mandalorian style cameo. There is someone that big who shows up in the last episode. And Paul Bettany has made mention that it is an actor he has never worked with before, but he's always died to work with, and it's a huge secret, and it's a huge cameo, and they will show up at the end or sometime in episode 9, the season finale. Now, who could it be? It has been speculated for so long that Doctor Strange is going to show up at the end of the show or sometime in the show, and he's going to help Wanda and Vision fight off Agatha Harkness. Is that really the big style cameo that they're describing? Don't get me wrong, seeing Doctor Strange come back would be pretty cool. We know that this is heading into his Doctor Strange 2, the Multiverse of Madness, and Spider-Man 3 and all that. It's a huge cameo to bring Doctor Strange into a Disney Plus series. I don't think that is this huge surprise actor. I don't think this is who Paul Bettany's talking about. I don't think this is what Elizabeth Olsen is talking about. I think Doctor Strange will still show up. I just do not think he is the big surprise. The only thing I can think when I think about all of this, and it's definitely someone I would want to see. I've been rooting for this character to show up the entire show. That would be Magneto. And yeah, I would absolutely love if maybe Professor X showed up, or for whatever reason Wolverine. I mean, they've overused Wolverine so much, but whoever gets tired of him. But Magneto, my favorite mutant of all time, and honestly, he might even be my favorite Marvel character of all time. I would love it if Magneto showed up. Well, wouldn't that just make sense? Because once again, if you don't know, Magneto is the father to Wanda and Quicksilver. So wouldn't the appearance of their real biological father entering the picture and basically being like, "Hello, daughter," like wouldn't that just put, that's the icing on the cake right there. That's the little strawberry you plop right down on the whipped cream. Absolutely delicious. Let's get Magneto in here. How sick would that be? Could you imagine him just floating down and grabbing some metal and smacking some bees? Now, one of the rumors and leaks I said I would discuss would have been the one that I think is actually, I don't know if it's true, but it does seem pretty accurate, is apparently Doctor Strange does show up, and he shows up with another X-Men. But it's not a Professor X and it's not a Magneto, it is actually Nightcrawler. He shows up with the kid who played Nightcrawler in X-Men Apocalypse. Now we're seeing a pattern. We're seeing Evan Peters as Quicksilver. We're seeing this kid, can't remember his name, as Nightcrawler. Kevin Feige clearly realizes that the casting choices for the X-Men world were great, and he wants to reuse these people. But second of all, I think this also shows that Kevin Feige isn't afraid to not only bring those characters back and, you know, without causing confusion, bringing those people to play those characters, but I think it also shows that Kevin Feige is opening the door for it. So, hey, James McAvoy, you want to come back as Professor X? Come on, get in that wheelchair and roll on over. You know, Michael Fassbender, you want to come back as Magneto? All right, slide that helmet on and get over here, buddy. I mean, whether or not Nightcrawler shows up to this show, the recasting of Evan Peters is already proving that the door is open for all of those people to come back to reprise themselves as X-Men in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And really, why go through all this pressure and stress to recast an entire squad of X-Men characters? If you can, keep who you have. I can guarantee you Michael Fassbender and James McAvoy would be happy to continue those roles. But you probably think, well, why Nightcrawler? Because we want Magneto or a Professor X or something, but why Nightcrawler? Well, if you've watched the show, you know this massive boundary that Wanda has created around the town of Westview, this massive hex. When you're entering it, it's changing everything about you, and it's making you play out a life that you have no control over. It is revealed in one of the episodes that the more you cross over, it is literally changing your biology. It's changing your DNA. It's rewriting your cells on a molecular level. And we saw with what happened to Monica when she re-entered the hex, she has now been given superpowers. Does that necessarily make her a mutant? I have to disagree. No, because with a mutant, you're born with them. She was never born with it. Unless Monica was born with these abilities, she never knew, but then the hex just unlocked the key. It developed them for her. Maybe that's a possibility. But back to the point, why would Nightcrawler be showing up with Doctor Strange? Well, the only thing I could possibly think would simply be because Doctor Strange needs a way to get into the hex. With how powerful of magic he is, you'd think he would just, separate it or find an opening and get through, but maybe he can't. So the only way he could is he needs a teleporter, and he gets Nightcrawler to teleport them into Westview. Now the thing with Nightcrawler is the only way he can teleport, I believe, is he needs to imagine where he's going. He needs to have been there before too. So for example, right now I'm above my kitchen. I close my eyes, I think about what my kitchen looks like, and bam, I'm right down there. I don't know how that will work, because with Nightcrawler, he needs to imagine a specific area in Westview. He needs to have been there before, he needs to see it, and then bam, teleportation successful. I don't know how that is exactly gonna work. Who even knows if that is actually why Doctor Strange recruits the help of Nightcrawler, but I guess we'll see. Well, this final episode airs on Friday, and I am sure we are in for a world of surprises. I mean, it is Marvel after all, and I gotta give it to them. They never stop surprising you. They never stop leave you wanting more. So why would it just all of a sudden end now? Especially to bringing the X-Men now, or mutants, into the MCU. I just don't really believe this show will end with like, it was okay. If it does, that'll suck. I just don't see them doing that with this, because they've already set so much up already. Look, if you're with me and like any other X-Men fan out there, we all want Magneto, man. Magneto is the father of the main character of the show. Get him in here. Get him in this B, bruh. Get him in. My name's Maggie. I'm the father of Wanda. And I'm here to no, but for real, like, let's get Magneto up in here. It's what we all want. It would just be so amazing. Let's make this happen. I mean, the show's done filming, so there's not much we can do. Maybe we can keep some hope alive that this is the huge cameo that we're expecting to see on Friday. Now, if you guys are watching this show, you guys like it, don't like it, leave a comment down below and let me know what you think. Also, let me know who you think will show up in this final episode. There is plenty of option. Magneto, Professor X, Doctor Strange, maybe all of the above somehow. Throw in a curveball and maybe even give me Spider-Man. I don't know how that would work, but you never know. Anything can happen at this point. If Friday's episode is as crazy as we all hope it is, and if it does reveal something amazing, I will definitely cover it here, especially if it is something to do with Magneto or X-Men. That'll be something to discuss and something really exciting to talk about as well. Until next time though, enjoy the episode Friday.